Well, I'm going to do something that nobody else will do with this film as is introduced. Here's my film fridge where I keep films I'm planning to shoot fairly soon. I also have a film freezer, but I've got one roll left. The other roll I shot on a portrait shoot with a lady who's a friend of one of my old friends from high school. But this is my last roll. I only bought 3 rolls of this when it initially came out on October 1st. But I'm going to shoot this in my Pentax 6.7 as a panoramic roll. And we don't get too many shots on a roll because of that, but it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. I haven't shot panoramics in my 6.7 for a long time. So let's actually do that. Let's shoot some of this Kodacolor 100 in my Pentax 6.7 as a Xpan kind of roll. So let's do that. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Braxus Photography Fun. Well, it seems my last video based on Kodacolor 100 was fairly popular. A lot of people are wanting to see results off this new film from Kodak and sort of get the idea of what it looks like both on your own scanner and from a lab scanner. And just to get an idea of what this Kodacolor 100 film is based from. Now, there's been a lot of speculation that Kodacolor 100 is Pro Image 100. I also had thoughts that maybe it was based off of Gold 100. To me, now that I've seen more results and shot my last 2 rolls of Kodacolor 100, I now think that Kodacolor 100 is actually Lomo 100. Now, I heard a comment previously stated that somebody doesn't think that Kodacolor 100 is Lomo 100 either. I don't know what they're basing that off of because I didn't get any information as to what they were thinking in regards to that. But the more I look at results off of my own rolls of Kodacolor 100, I seriously have come to the conclusion that it's Lomo 100. Now, I have shot Lomo 100 in 120 format. And the colors are definitely more muted, not as saturated as, like a gold film or even a Pro Image film. But based on the results from that, Kodacolor 100 doesn't have the saturated colors as the gold or Pro Image films do. And Kodacolor 100 seems to be more muted in colors in comparison. And to me, that kind of gives me the telltale sign that it's Lomo 100. Now, Kodak already stated that Kodacolor 100 is a film that's already being made in their system. And Lomo was asking Kodak, or ordering from Kodak to get their Lomo 100 film being made from Kodak. So that would be a contender for a film that Kodak would be referring to as far as a film being made. And of course, based on the colors I've seen off of Kodacolor 100 being less saturated, less bold, maybe more old school in that sense, more neutral as well. Maybe it doesn't have that warm tint that gold does, and that kind of thing. I think it's Lomo 100, guys. I'm curious to see what you guys have come up with and what you have to say in regard to this matter. I don't think that Kodacolor 100 is gold film. I don't think it's Pro Image film either, because both of those films have more saturated colors than Kodacolor 100 does. And yeah. But first off, what I'd like to get into is to show a few samples from my previous video on Kodacolor 100. One particular person mentioned that there was no standard of reference and that kind of thing. And part of the reason why that was the case in that particular video was because my main computer was down and I didn't have Photoshop available to set up sample images of each particular image all in one shot. So I had to basically do the video where I basically posted each picture full frame and then show them one after the other later on. So in this video here, to go back to my previous video, I'm going to show a few samples of each film type all in one picture page, so you can sort of see a standard reference between the three particular film types, which was Kodacolor 100, basically Pro Image 100, and Gold 100. So I'll show these now so you can see what each of them looks like next to each other. So let's take a look at that now. So I had 2 rolls left of Kodacolor 100 out of the 3 that I bought. The first one was shown in a video previously of mine, and I had 2 rolls left. So I decided for fun, I don't have my camera on my shelf at the moment, but I decided to shoot one of my 2 remaining rolls in my Pentax X7 version 2. Now, it's been a while since I've shot 35mm film in my 6.7 cameras. Quite a few years actually, and I thought for fun, why don't we take some Kodacolor 100 and shoot it in Xpan format in my Pentax X7 camera. And that's exactly what I did. I stated my last 2 rolls, I wanted them to be scanned at the lab instead of scanning them myself, because the lab is more consistent with what people will get for their own rolls. And I was kind of lambasted a little bit in my last video in regards to consistency between the 3 films that I compared, and that there was no standard of reference to go by in that regards. So just to weed that factor out, I got the photo lab to scan these negatives, and of course they have the Noritsu 1100 film scanner, which does have the Xpan format available for scanning. I had to actually teach them how to set the machine up for Xpan format, because nobody in the lab knew how to set their machine up for that. So I thought that was interesting. Here's a customer telling the lab people how to operate their equipment. Anyway, I guess that's what 19 years experience in a full lab does. You know, you still remember these things from how it was in the past, and of course the equipment I used to run in the photo lab was Noritsu. So that aside, I got 19 images off my 36 roll of Kodacolor 100, all in Xpan format. I do want to mention that I didn't have a light meter on my Pentax X7, so I'd use my 35mm for the light meter. I noticed a lot of the shots were really washed out in regards to the exposure. Now, the exposure I think was just a little bit too high, and the lab scanner does not adjust the scans for when they output it to the file that they upload for you. They don't manipulate the scans in any way. So basically what you're seeing in this video are the raw scans right off the Noritsu, unmanipulated. Again, you'll notice that they're really too washed out for my liking. I would have actually darkened them quite a bit to get the colors back. But needless to say, you'll see that the saturation is not really, you know, the best with this film. But if some people like that kind of look more based off of like Color Plus kind of style of saturation. And even Color Plus to me has more saturation than Kodacolor 100 does. But Kodacolor 100 being an old school style emulsion in terms of its look, to me, you'll probably, some people will actually like that look. And so anyway, enough of that, enough of my rambling. Let's get on to actually showing the 19 images and see exactly what I came up with. Let's take a look at that now. So with this 672 camera, I only currently have the 135mm lens for it, for the widest lens that I have. So even though it's not really made for panoramic use, it's what I got to work with. So I have to obviously be very careful with my framing and that kind of thing. It really needs a wide angle lens when you shoot panoramics on these cameras, but unfortunately, I just don't have one right now. I don't even have a 105 lens yet, even though I'm planning on picking one up in the next week or so. So there's that. But anyway, let's go out and shoot our Kodacolor 100 in my Pentax 672. Now, because I don't want to sacrifice too much of this film for loading into the camera, I'm going to sacrifice a roll from my freezer, a roll that I'm not too worried about. What we've got here is a roll of Fujichrome 100D. This stuff is probably quite old, but I'm going to take a section of this film and use it as the leader for this film. And that way when I wind it through the camera, I'm not losing too many shots at the beginning of the roll. So we'll do that. We'll pull out a section. And if I remember right, the loading procedure, I think we'll go with about that much. And I'll just throw this back into the canister in case the day when I do actually want to shoot the rest of that roll. So we'll set that aside. So we've got our leader for the 6.7. I really hope that's enough, but we're going to at least save some of this film from being overused for loading. And we'll get this open. And here's our Kodacolor 100. I'm going to snip the leader off, and we'll get some tape here. Because this tape is hard to cut, I'm just going to use the scissors for that. And I'll load this tape on there. We'll put this onto our film leader. As you can see, let's get that a little bit better. There we go. I'll just fold that over. So we have a nice long section for film leader. I'll wind this back in just a touch Okay, and we'll get our 672 open. As you can see, it'll be held in the canister just the way it is. It's not gonna, I don't have the kit for this camera at this time to do the masking or the centering of the shot, so I'll just have to let gravity take hold of this camera. Just let it sort of sit in there on the side. Actually, I'm just going to line this in because I need this to be just good to go. Get that in the sprockets. I'll center this up in the canister. And I'm going to put a piece of tape on to hold the canister. I know that's not common procedure, but that may help the film stay in one spot. Close the back. I pray that that's loaded, guys. We'll have to see when I take it out of the film camera in the dark bag, but it's telling me it's on number 1. So we'll see how that goes. So with this 672 camera, I only currently have the 135mm lens for it, for the widest lens that I have. So even though it's not really made for panoramic use, it's what I got to work with. So I have to obviously be very careful with my framing and that kind of thing. It really needs a wide angle lens when you shoot panoramics on these cameras, but unfortunately I just don't have one right now. I don't even have a 105 lens yet, even though I'm planning on picking one up in the next week or so. So there's that. But anyway, let's go out and shoot our Kodacolor 100 in my Pentax 672. So I hope you enjoyed those scans off of Kodacolor 100 and the Xpan format. Of course, again, I used my Pentax 672 for shooting the Xpan shots. I've done it a few times in the past and it works fairly well. I got the the photo lab that I send my 35mm to for developing. I got them to scan it on their Noritsu. It took them a little while to figure out how to set the machine up for Xpan format because they weren't used to using that format. I literally was the first person probably had ever asked them to develop, or should I say scan up some Xpan photos. But because I have experience in the photo lab in the past, I let them know how to set up the machine for Xpan format. It's kind of funny, a customer telling a business how to use their equipment, but regardless, they did it for me. Again, a lot of the shots were really washed out because they don't manipulate their scans when they give them to you. They just leave them off the machine directly as it comes off the scanner. So that is why the images look a little washed out. I didn't actually make any changes to the scans themselves this time. I just let them stay as is, so you can sort of see what kind of results you get off a lab scan. What I saw in these images, it does look a lot like Kodacolor VR Plus 100, but the jury to me is still out whether this is actually Lomo 100 film or is it still Pro Image 100. Now, what I saw in my own results basically suggests that it's Lomo 100 film for Kodacolor 100. But I did see a video just even today from another person posting about Kodacolor 100, and he shot Pro Image 100, Kodacolor 100, and also Lomo 100 all in the same video. Granted, he did use a point and shoot for all three films, 3 different point and shoots, so the results vary from that. But when I looked at his scans, again, it swang back to the Pro Image 100 side of things, and the Lomo 100 had more of a yellow cast to it. He had his scans done up on a Noritsu as well, so my own results suggest it's Lomo 100. His scans that I saw in his video suggest it's still Pro Image 100. So I don't know, guys. It's the jury's still out as to which particular film Kodak decided to reissue as Kodacolor 100. That said, it doesn't really matter. The results are so close between the 3 films, to be honest with you, so I don't think you'd be upset with any of the images. The video that I watched today with the other guys, his shots looked almost very much the same, almost identical, except for a slight difference in color on occasion with some of the films that he used. And again, the Kodacolor 100 VR 100 film, which is known as Lomo 100 today, is got a bit of a yellow cast to it, and the colors are slightly different. So I don't know, guys. But I did have one more roll of Kodacolor 100 that I shot just in the last week with the full colors that we've got outside, and I'll be showing those results in a follow-up video in a week or two. I just got to basically get the lab to scan up the film as well as develop the roll itself, and I'll be showing some more lab scans in that video in the follow-up down the road, so stay tuned for that, guys. But I also have a photo shoot that I'm doing of a friend of a friend basically, and she was willing to pose for some pictures for me. Granted, it's going to be hard to say what the weather's going to be like, but I plan on shooting one of my rolls of film as Kodacolor 100, and hopefully we get some full colors and leaves and that kind of thing too. Hard to say if we'll get a sunny day or if it'll be overcast and cloudy as it has been lately, but there's that. But yeah, if you have anything to say, leave me in the comment section below. Maybe give me a thumbs up if you like. So stay tuned for another video or two on Kodacolor 100 if you still want to see more results. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Well, thank you for watching, and aye and goodbye. eh?